Finishing school with 6 distinctions, Bonolo headed for fashion design school, but ill health saw her only complete 1 term. Undeterred, she started a fashion line called AfriBlossom and then began another venture, writing romantic novels featuring big, beautiful women.
Your idea for a clothing line started way back when you were an exchange student in the United States.
Yes, so I always knew I wanted to be in the creative space because I come from a family of creatives and the sciences. So my dad's a doctor, my mom's in marketing. So my sister took the science brain and I took the creative brain. So I left for a year when I was 16 to kind of find myself. And I found that shopping was so easy in the States. They had specialty plus-size boutiques and I was like, why don't we have this back home? So that's when I was like, that's what I'm going to do with my life.
You are so relentless, having been diagnosed with Blount's disease at the age of 6. Tell us a little bit about that.
Blount's disease is a growth disorder that affects your shin bones. It affects how your legs grow. And in rare cases, it causes your one leg to grow faster than the other. So, you know, growing up in a black community, people thought it was cute, but it gets progressively worse. So when my mom realized that, oh, this is a little bit strange, she got me diagnosed and I've just grown up with it. It's been my normal that, oh, every few years, you know, you have to go get chopped up, fixed here and there. So I just got used to it. So I think that's just a credit to my mom that she raised me to see my situation as normal, to see myself as normal. So it wasn't such an obstacle up until I had to leave school because of it.
Now, your unofficial tagline is don't let your difficulties become your identity.
Yeah, don't let your struggle become your identity. And I feel like that's basically my life story, that, you know, when you have a disease, when you have challenges in life, sometimes people give you the easy way out, like, oh, you didn't succeed because of X, Y, Z. But I'm like, no, that's not who you are. You can go over and above that. That's actually just a test to say, do you want this bad enough? And I've said, I've wanted this bad enough. So when I dropped out, I was like, okay, what's the next step? How else do I go about achieving my goals? Do I go back to school the next year? It was just a case of how. It was a detour. It wasn't the end of the road.
Did you anticipate that your brand will become so successful?
Yes and no. Yes, because I had my mother's support, because she is a brilliant marketer and she always pushes me to go above and beyond. But then somehow when things do grow, you are surprised because, I don't know, you know that saying, what is it? Hope for the best, but expect the worst. So I've been kind of going that way, like, okay, I hope it's great, but if it's not, I didn't get too excited, so I'm not too disappointed.
Talking about your support system, your friends play a really important role.
Yes, most definitely. I've always had a very supportive group of friends, even as a child. So I think that's why Blount's disease didn't take me over, because I did get bullied a little bit as a kid, but I had a lot of friends throughout that helped keep me happy, keep me on track. So naturally in this business world, when I need a model, I'm like, hey friend, can you? I have a friend who does makeup. Hi friend, I need you. So I definitely have like a little tribe around me that supports me.
Friends and models Hlongwane and MOGOANENG also offer a creative sounding board.
How have you supported Bonolo over the years and what has she meant to you?
Well, she's a great friend. She's very supportive, so you can't turn a blind eye on that. You have to return the support. Whenever she has anything, any gigs, she will always call the two of us.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, because that's the kind of person she is, and she's open for any ideas. She asks questions, even though she knows better, but she does ask questions, and yeah, that's where we come in, and then we sit together, and then we do this, whether it's fashion shows, whether it's photo shoots, we do everything.
Bonolo, how do you approach choosing your fabrics as well as your unique style?
I try to have the pieces be as timeless as possible, so that's why I'll consult with my friends, my mom, different age groups, and get an understanding of what each woman wants. So the way I choose fabric for AfriBlossom is that it has to be fat-friendly, which means it needs to stretch, it needs to accommodate all the curves and keep us as comfortable as possible. So that's my first starting point. And then obviously how it looks is also important. I'm a sucker for leather. I'm a sucker for great detail, because I feel like that's what makes timeless pieces. I want AfriBlossom to be the type of thing that you keep in your wardrobe for years to come, and your daughter might steal it from you 20 years from now.
Siphiwe Sithole has been there from day one and seen her daughter's idea grow into a successful online retail operation. She's been a rock of practical support.
So you provided Bonolo with her first cash injection to start the business. Was it an easy decision for you?
It was an easy decision. After all, I'm her mom and I've always believed in her talent, and she started designing from the age of 12. So it was just automatic for me to actually just make that first cash available for her.
What role do you play in the business?
Well, Bonolo calls me the momager. I provide the funding. I ensure that the production is on schedule. And I also look for new outlet opportunities, look for market opportunities, where's the next outlet where we could put our clothes.
It must be a treat working with your mom.
It has its days. We can't get away from each other. So home to business, it's always just the two of us. So I think sometimes I tell people we almost have an unusual bond where we don't get tired of each other. But yeah, it's good to work with someone who you know always has your back. I know if I forget something, she remembers. She's like me 2.0. Yeah.
Just as driven as Bonolo is her friend PHATI Katurah Hlongwane. With a master's in architecture, she turned her hand to jewellery design.
PHATI, how do you make sure that your jewellery collection complements AfriBlossom style?
So I think both our brands are very expressive. We both very bold, and we have very unique ways of showing how African women need to be celebrated. So each item that I selected, it varies depending on the actual garment. There's different elements. So for instance, with this one, it looks more like an evening wear look. So it's something she'd probably wear on a red carpet. So I chose something which is very dramatic and expresses that she would be able to wear on an evening out. And then I also look at the colors, because those also have to match, and then the amount of detail that would go into each design will fit, whether it's a casual look or a more evening wear look.
Behind camera on fashion shoots, the live wire who founded this business will often go on camera to sell her brand on social media and to spread her message.
Bonolo, what's the best way to shop for your body shape and size?
So it's all about knowing, firstly, what's your body type? So looking into, are you top heavy? Are you bottom heavy? And then from there to say, okay, anything that has volume makes that part bigger. So if you're conscious about your hips, then don't add volume where you don't want attention. So it's just about deciding which part of you want to showcase on that day, and really not being afraid to experiment.
You have clearly instilled the healthy body image on Bonolo. Any advice on this?
One thing is that mothers and even dads, parents, and every family member needs to be there to make sure that the child has got positive body image. I used to tell Bonolo from the time when she was at primary school that if ever somebody says to you, "Hi, you want a Sithole?" you turn around and say, "Nana, I don't care how old that person is." You turn around and say to her, "Angsu Sithole, ni princess ka mama." And that's what she used to tell them. So I just had to make sure that she believes in who she is, and nobody's going to make her feel like she's less important in this universe.
Who do you wish to inspire through AfriBlossom?
The everyday plus-size girl who grew up being called Sithole, being told that, oh, you'd be so pretty if you lost weight. Those women who've been told that they're not beautiful enough because they don't fit a certain size, that's who I want to make feel beautiful and say, yes, I can, be a model too, because I pick everyday women to model for me.
Years ago, this young talent read the words, "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me lay an invincible summer." She never looked back.